In today's Leeds news, more international call-ups, Chambers on injury issues, Palace request fixture move, Swiss manager takes aim at Okafor again, Leeds risk losing Chadwick and Baird, and no Klopp links to Leeds United. Hi folks, welcome back to the Leeds View for Thursday morning, the 6th of November with your Leeds United news. Hope you're all having a really good week so far. There's a lot of news to get stuck in today. No Daniel Farke press conference today. It is tomorrow instead, as we have the game on Sunday rather than Saturday. We'll have a watch along over on bigup.com for the game on Sunday as well. We'll have a breakdown video coming out on Saturday, which has a little bit of a look at how Leeds set up at the start of the season versus how Leeds have set it up in the last couple of weeks, and what Leeds can do differently if they want to be successful against Nottingham Forest, or what they can do to change how they approach games in the next couple of weeks. Outside of that, we will get stuck into the news, and we'll start off today with some more international call-ups. Start off with the Welsh side, and Carl Darlow, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu and Dan James have all been called up by Wales for their World Cup qualifiers against North Macedonia and Liechtenstein next week. Sweden's Gabby Gudmundsson has been called up for their World Cup qualifier squad under new manager Graham Potter for the games against Switzerland and Slovenia. Likely to see a few more called up. No Okafor in the Swiss squad. We'll get to that story in a couple of minutes. And Ilya Gruev also seems to be on the darker side of a relationship with an international manager as well. Some of those can help Leeds over the next couple of weeks. Let's move on. Let's talk about Leeds United's academy star Sam Chambers. Leeds United's young prospect Sam Chambers has been speaking recently about his injury issues after returning following a lengthy spell on the treatment table. Chambers spent about 3 months out with an injury this month and has had injury concerns over the last year or so, but he was back in the side to face Brighton and was very much involved in that game. On his return from injury, Chambers spoke to LUTV and he said the following: "It's been good for me. I think I've been a bit unlucky. I've been out on and off for a while now, but my body feels good, so it's nice to be back and out there getting some minutes." Chambers is rated very highly behind the scenes at Leeds United, has had some first team involvement as well, and there's nothing unusual about young players, especially around the ages of 16, 17 and 18, having consistent injuries as they start to go through growth spurts and their body starts to develop a little bit more. But Leeds manager Scott Gardner also spoke on Chambers' return and he said the following: "Sam has obviously been out for a while. I think he did extremely well to get to the 70 minutes that he did. I'm pleased, and I'm pleased that the other lads contributed around him as well." Leeds have got a good crop of exciting young 18-year-old talents there. Sam Chambers is one, along with Creswell, Gray, Pickles, Vincent, Chadwick, all very highly rated at the club, and all of them have several years ahead of them at the under-21 level as well. As I say, the bulk of them are all in and around 18 years of age, so plenty of room for growth for them as well. Let's move on. As much as it irritates and irks fans moving fixtures for TV, an opposition side have now requested a move of fixture in December. Leeds have had 4 fixtures already moved over the festive period, and now Crystal Palace have asked for a fixture that has already been moved once to be moved back again in order to allow them deal with some fixture congestion. The Leeds Palace game was scheduled for Sunday, December 21st. It had been originally pushed to Sunday from the Saturday for TV, but Palace have a European Conference League game on the Thursday, and that gives them 2 days between the matches between the European Conference League game and the Leeds United game, something Leeds were very used to happening during their time in the Championship. Palace have also progressed in the Carabao Cup, and they will take on Arsenal in the quarter-final on December 23rd. And Arsenal have also requested their game on December 21st to be moved to allow for more rest period, and Palace have tried to follow suit. Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner had the following to say on the request to move the Palace and Leeds United game: "We're trying the same thing as Arsenal are trying to move the Leeds game forward to Saturday, so we don't have 2 days between games. We didn't get a response from the Premier League, just to have the same as Arsenal if their game is moved." Currently, the Arsenal game has not been moved just yet, and they haven't gotten a response from the league. But Palace will have 4 games in 12 days, something Leeds again experienced in the Championship when Leeds had on a few occasions had 3 games in the space of 9 days. But Palace do not want to have that situation happen to them, despite the fact they've got bigger squads, more depth, more talent, if you listen to comments, and more quality in depth across that squad. But they want that game moved, and we'll wait and see what the Premier League say over the next couple of days. Let's move on. And the rift between Noah Okafor and Swiss manager Murat Yakim is not showing any signs of changing anytime soon. Okafor wants his performances to speak for themselves and is keen to return to the Swiss national side and force his way in to their World Cup plans this summer. Okafor has been a standout for Leeds United this season, but Yakim has said he wants more from Okafor before he recalls him to the Swiss squad. Okafor hasn't been in a Swiss national team squad since November last year. Yakim was asked again for the reasons of Okafor's absence from the squad, and he responded by saying that Okafor is an interesting profile and that they have better attacking options, but Okafor is on their radar. Asked by the media if he preferred young boys Christian Fasnacht to Okafor, Yakim had the following to say: "I've spoken with Okafor repeatedly, telling him what I expect from him on and off the pitch, and I hope my words eventually get through to him. We'll continue to monitor him. Attacking players are also measured by their goal scoring record, and those who are currently in the squad have an advantage over Okafor in that regard." Yakim previously criticised Okafor for playing as a striker while at AC Milan, something that was out of his control. But since his move to Leeds in the summer, he has played on his preferred left-hand side, and something that Yakim had asked from him as well. Fasnacht over at Young Boys in the Swiss League currently has 6 goals in 11 games, and the level of the Swiss League would not be seen at the level of the Premier League, and Okafor has got 2 goals in 7 games so far in the Premier League. The other side to this is an international manager commenting and demanding things from a player while playing for his club side, and that feels like it's slightly overstepping the mark just a little bit. Daniel Farke will have his own instructions and his own requirements from Noah Okafor, and if Yakim wants him to change them, it's just not something that Noah Okafor can do. At the end of the day, Leeds United pay Okafor's wages, not the Swiss national side. So there seems to be a bit of a crossover there. Leeds have seen Isaac Schmidt come into the club from the Swiss League from St. Gallen. They're currently ahead of Young Boys in the Swiss League, and that didn't work out particularly well for Isaac Schmidt in the Championship. Didn't seem to be at the level we saw him during the summer as well against the likes of AC Milan, and struggled in those games. So yeah, comparing a player who's currently playing reasonably well and being Leeds' best attacking outlet in the Premier League against a player who is 31 years of age and playing in the Swiss League at a side that are in and around 5th and 6th in the table seems an unusual request to make, but he seems to be changing the requests on Okafor every time Okafor ticks one of the boxes that he has asked him to do. But yeah, for me, manager overstepping the mark there when he's requiring things of a player at his club side that he has no say in there. But that rift is likely not to change anytime soon, though. Okafor could have a very much an uphill battle trying to get back into that squad while Yakim is in charge. Let's move on. Leeds have 2 promising young talents that could be at risk of moving on. Chadwick, who has been a regular part of the Leeds United under-21 side and has been a part of the Leeds United's first team training squad, signed his pro deal at the club back in 2024, and he currently has 6 months left on his deal. Chadwick is still 18 years of age. He turns 19 in February, and Leeds won't have the power to stop him from moving on if they don't approach him with a new deal soon. Foreign clubs will have to wait just a little bit longer, but English clubs who are interested in Chadwick could make a move for him right about now. Chadwick has first team experience with the squad under his belt and has scored more recently in the Leeds United under-21s draw with Brighton. But Leeds will need to move soon if they do want to tie him down to a new deal and stop him from moving away from the club on a free transfer. We've seen a few players in the last couple of months leave Leeds in a similar situation. Another talent that is now tipped to move away from Leeds United in January is highly rated under-18 goalkeeper Alex Baird. Baird is said to be the target of several clubs ahead of January and has been stuck behind Rory Mahadi and Daryl Ombang, and because of that has had the bulk of his appearances in the under-18 squad. Now, not every single player can make the breakthrough. There are other players in those positions as well. Leeds have an abundance of talented goalkeepers at youth level. Rory Mahadi and Ambang have been very good for Leeds at under-21 level, so Baird is more likely just a victim of just being slightly behind those guys in the pecking order. But according to reports, Baird has impressed scouts with his reflexes and shot stopping, and that could mean a move is on the card for him in the summer. His contract is also due to expire soon, and according to the report today, it says that Leeds are unlikely to stop him from leaving the club and moving on. This would represent another Leeds United homegrown player leaving the club, and as I say, not everybody can make the breakthrough and get into the first team squads or into the under-21 squad. We have an abundance of players there right now. And again, as I said at the start of this video, Leeds have a very young under-21 squad, the bulk of them in and around 18 years of age, and that also is where Baird falls into that bracket as well. So more victim of circumstances than anything else for Alex Baird. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on both those players. Leeds would like to get Chadwick locked down. There's a player in there as well, so we'll see what happens. Let's move on. We'll talk about the last story of today and a rumour killer here. Just to box this one off, a quite mad rumour that came out last week and has now turned into a story at some of the back pages or aggregate sites around the internet. And that's possible links of Jurgen Klopp to Leeds United. Klopp has said on the record that if he ever returns to coaching, it won't be with another Premier League side. But given his involvement with Red Bull and their connections to Leeds United, this rumour has kicked off as a potential replacement for Daniel Farke. But now, thanks to Graham Smith at the Yorkshire Evening Post, he has firmly put the brakes on the runaway rumour. Smith, speaking on the podcast, rubbished the notion of Jurgen Klopp managing at Leeds United, and he said this: "That is an absolute shocker, that one. The man himself has quite literally said the words, 'I am not going to manage another team in England,' which just doesn't seem to come into people's minds at all." Smith rightly called the rumour just bizarre, weird and very, very pointless when he was discussing this, and he's 100% right on this. People just don't seem to listen to the words that came out of Jurgen Klopp's mouth when he was discussing his exit from coaching. They've added 2 and 2 together and come up with a result of 400, so likely just to fill clickbait headlines. It's the big story in Team Talk this week. It's a non-story. It's an absolute non-story. We haven't covered it this week. We never even got into it because there's just some stories you look at and you go, that's not true. There's no point in talking about it. It's not true. But it has been picked up. We were asked in the comment section on the podcast to cover this. Now that Graham Smith has come out and given his take on this, and he's far more in the know than anybody else in the media space around Leeds United, we thought we'd box this one off, cover it, kill it, and move on for it. So yeah, Jurgen Klopp to Leeds United, absolute utter nonsense. That'll be it for me today, folks. Massive thanks as always for supporting the channel. You can like, subscribe and comment and hype all the good things if you want to the channel. I've also linked yesterday's news video as well as the appearance that we had on the Inside or Outside Ellen Road podcast over there discussing Leeds United's away form and what Leeds need to do coming into the Nottingham Forest game. You can check that out if you want to. Outside that, I will be back tomorrow morning for the Leeds United news. We'll have the stats pack out tomorrow night, the form guide, the team news, and all the stats and data heading into the game at the weekend. And then we will have the watch along, and the breakdown video will come out on Saturday as well. So keep an eye out for that. Outside that, enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.